It's like crickets.
Everybody, all three of us.
Yes.
When last we left our heroes, we had successfully garnered the item that we needed.
Yes.
Specifically, a barrel full of said item.
Yep. The product.
And in the midst of that, there was dog barking. There was
terrifying, actually, to be honest.
It was, just terrifying. So apart from that, the items were placed in a magical device that you had obtained from Badma. Yes, as winnings, as a reward for having bested the resident dwarf in the drinking game. So you.
Is Badma being mad?
Oh yeah, he must be. He must be unleashing the hounds. So after that, you moved off onto the road, traveling once more back towards the city of Ithon, where you originally called your home. Called your home.
Mm-hmm.
And you have traveled for an entire day into the evening, and the evening brought you into a portion on the south side of the road where you had set up camp, and the night was progressing as uneventfully as you would expect until during the second watch, sometime into the second watch, you noticed people approaching. Hello! Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons! And in that evening, you saw an elf approach the party, and it was none other than a familiar elf who you had rescued, Agarella.
Oh. Not as exciting.
No.
The female Agarella who had cut off a lock of her hair and given it to Amir. And she approached the group.
She started.
And informed you that you were camping or pitching your tent, etc., on their sacred hunting ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take too much convincing to have you relocate to the north side of the road. And
they should have really put up a sign, though. Yeah, you know.
Yes, of course, there absolutely should be a sign, because you went through all of that trouble just to make it, and the unseen servants were once again summoned, and Martha had them move camp, or her stuff from the camp to the north side of the camp.
And has Martha told anybody about Amir?
She has not yet shared any of that information.
Got it.
Rudy asked if you could send him a link.
Oh, right.
You had one job!
I know, but I do have a good excuse. My car was stolen last week, and
Are you serious?
Forgot they also stole my wallet. So I got it back. It's not a wallet. And then as I get in my car, like the gas light goes on, and I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, I don't know. I was more worried about not having cash for your stuff. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. My bank account got hacked into last week.
Your what?
My check
Hacked into or just like stolen?
Stolen.
Oh, okay.
Just straight up stolen. But it was my account info, not my debit card. They wire transferred everything out.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went through all that last week. I just had to close everything down.
I'm always like, $200, was it worth it?
Yeah. It took all $10. I needed that for gas money.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to send the link to Rudy.
Like there are still times where, like I haven't sat down and talked to Natalie about budgeting or anything, and I'll shut my card and I'm like, oh yeah. And I get this like fear from like when I was back in college, and I'm like, it might go through, it might not. Who knows?
Roll dice.
Yeah.
Like I live on the edge.
I was talking to the lady at Home Depot, and while you're doing it, like checking out, she's like, oh, you want to sign up for a Home Depot card? And I'm like, honestly, you should wait until like my card's declined. You'd have 100% close rate,
Boom.
He's supposed to be sitting me my.
I sent the link to Rudy. So Rudy, you're welcome. Okay, I have everyone's characters because #D&D Beyond.
Yep.
And we have just done the recap of where we were. So, the second shift ends with everybody being awake and moving towards the north side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the last person to take the shift is Martha, I think. Because you were first. And then Demitri was second, and I believe Martha was third.
Okay.
Or vice versa. So I'll go ahead and roll, or would you like to roll a perception check for Martha? It's +8. Is her modifier.
I'll roll. Oh, I was going to roll 2d10 for some reason. Ooh, 19 plus 8.
Nice. Okay, so you successfully and very tiredly, begrudgingly,
I get that XP though.
exhaustingly move your belongings to the north side. You leave the horses and the wagons, as they said it would be fine for you to leave those in place and then get them in the morning. But your persons need to be removed from the area. So you move over to the north side of the road and camp for the remainder of the evening. Quickly go back to sleep. Martha is keeping watch, and during her last portion of the watch, there doesn't appear to be anything that has happened because she has not woken anybody up until it is the coming of the dawn when she's beginning to start rousing everybody to get them ready for breakfast.
Early riser for sure.
And all of the other things that need to get done early in the day, because you have a whole day of traveling ahead of you. This is the first of 3 days to get back to Ithon from Wallminster. So,
And I'm exhausted because those little miniature bears just kept me up all night.
Oh,
so. Yes, indeed.
She wakes up, she's changing diapers nonstop. It's terrible. Has to like mash up their food. How many of them are there? Two?
The Saijo is the name of the species of
What is the animal's name then?
Oh.
What?
I named my sheep.
You didn't like just think about this all
No, Emerald, I think, or something like that. And I didn't like it. We're gonna change that one, the E one, and then the other after.
What do you think of furball?
So
You call him furball.
I'm gonna say soju, but that's not
Soju?
right.
No. Maybe we could call him dinner,
No.
supper,
No.
brunch. Perhaps we could call him stinky hairball. No, pancake.
Not gonna happen.
No. What are those little furry things called in from that terrible original Star Trek episode? The things that attack Picard.
Doesn't start with an F.
Yeah.
They're not Furbies.
Furry monsters from Star Trek. For sure. They are called a tribble.
A tribble.
A tribble.
Here
It sounds like a group,
tribble.
like a cluster of
I could name the other one
Sujao. A
tribble.
cluster. They're called a tribble. A tribble of Sujao is what it sounds like. Like a murder of crows. An embarrassment.
The one that's the E name, I don't like it. We could change it to triple. I like that.
Emmanuel.
And that's the male or the female.
It's the boy.
Right. The female was the one that's like, and the male was the one that was more docile.
He's all cute and cuddly.
That's right. So
It's ironic.
you're gonna start calling the male triple.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. And I did not write down the name.
Tribble 1, tribble 2.
I did write it down.
Oh.
It's just on my sheet.
Oh, it's
It's
not going to be in your D&D Beyond because you haven't even claimed your character yet. So
Rudy put my stuff out there.
he did, and I can see your character sheet, but I can't see your
My
character sheet.
character sheet. Gotcha.
So, yes, Rudy, the party screen is indeed frozen, and that occasionally will happen. I can't get it to work.
Get him. She's getting him.
Yeah.
She's.
Mama bear.
They are just.
That's what Riven sounded like. All get back here.
Boom. Oh, that's humongous. Now you guys' faces have taken up the entire screen. All right, there we go. Boom. That's So there you go, Rudy. Now we're live again. Okay, so yes.
Knock them over here.
Yeah, you should.
What would your characters like to do now that you are awake and the dawn has taken you and you
And
are?
there's nothing? Nothing happened?
There was nothing that Martha has said happened during the rest of her shift.
Alright, so light breakfast and get on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will you let me
Yeah.
know when we get to, what was that girl's name, the crazy dwarf lady?
Messa.
Messa. Will you let me know when we get to Messa's thing?
Part of the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll have to roll
Get to know yourself?
a survival or a history
Okay.
check.
With advantage, because like I'm like, hey guys, can you help me?
It would require everyone or more than one person to remember the area.
I'll give it the old college try. Hey, 19 again! Survival, you said?
Not bad, yeah.
20. 20.
Okay, yes. You do, in fact, remember the area where it was because of the way that the foliage kind of changed in that area versus what
Is she there?
you're used to. You are going to be traveling all day.
Yep.
And she had shown up at the beginning of your adventure. So you're not sure how far into her territory you were when you first met her, but that was on your first day of travel. And
So, Evendur, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Messa, she gave me the necklace,
Mm-hmm.
and I traded the necklace for the portable hole that we got, and she has my staff of the python.
Uh-huh.
Do you think it's an even trade? Do you think she's gonna be mad at me?
What are the conditions of the trade again?
We just were gonna trade, and then we were gonna give it back in a few days' time. But I don't have her object. So if she keeps the stuff of the python, is she gonna be angry at me?
No, probably not.
Okay. What do I think?
I understand.
Yeah.
you tell me what you think.
No, I don't know. I
I'm
mean,
not really familiar with the portal thing.
The
I wasn't-
staff-
I'm not giving her that.
The staff belongs to
or
Eldrick,
the staff either.
Yep.
who you had taken it on loan.
Yep. I do have a solution for that, but we'll cross that bridge when I get there.
You're not entirely certain. It would be. I will say that it appears to be a one-to-one trade for her.
For her?
She's
So she won't be like super mad?
right.
Okay.
She didn't come across
Probably
as
my guy anyways.
a person who would trade down for anything.
Okay.
So it felt like it was a fair exchange.
For all I know, maybe she thought it was a forever thing. Like we pinky swore or something.
Right, you can't, you don't know exactly if that was.
And
how-
didn't somebody have to give somebody blood last week?
Me, yes. I get that little familiar blood or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
crap.
you did.
Keep track of me or
Yeah,
something.
they're
Yeah,
gonna. We're gonna
that's weird.
seriously. It's gonna be like the flying
gonna be
monkeys
game
from
on.
Wizard of Oz.
Uh-huh.
Yep, you're gonna
They're
die.
looking at you through like a crystal ball.
Oh,
right now.
right now. All right. So we just keep going. I don't keep a close eye out for it.
Did you tell anybody in the party that you gave blood?
No, I didn't.
Okay, got it.
I don't know why this guy's mad at me.
Just want to,
freaking out. I'm not even, how they even found me.
just want to establish that you do have those spell books,
Yeah.
and
Has he pulled those out?
We got a few hours left of Dispel Magic to copy over.
right, it's going to take a few days.
A few days.
Yeah, because you're able to
Little by
do
little, yeah.
because you can't do it while you're traveling, so you can use 1 hour of your long rest to take care of it. And
You can't do it while traveling?
Well,
No, why?
it's very intricate designs that he has to copy down, and so on the road, if you,
But they like write words.
it could no, there are words, but there are arcane sigils that need to get copied down as well. So it's a very elaborate process.
Alright. Spell Magic is an abjuration spell, so never mind.
He has to dispel magic? What is it? How do
So in one of the books, he found
he's
Dispel
copied.
Magic.
Oh.
So I
So
can
he's
learn
trying
it.
to copy it.
Start using it.
Nice. Okay.
Indeed. So
Okay.
I'll need someone to roll 2d10s for this day's worth of travel.
Gator
Is
done.
it 10?
Yep, and I will still roll both.
Boom.
Which one first?
Purple. 87.
7 and 8.
All right. So throughout the day, you have the 2 wagons that are traveling, that are traveling on the road. Apart from the caravan that you had passed to the day before, there hasn't been really any activity on the road besides yourselves and woodland creatures that are moving in and out of your view. There are opportunities for you to try and catch or to hunt any of this game while you're traveling en route, just because the wildlife is so...
I want to try so I can get something to feed the bears.
Yeah.
prevalent. Right?
At some point, I'll walk ahead, maybe with Riven, ahead of the wagon,
Sure.
and try to shoot something.
Okay. I will say, go ahead and make a survival check.
Come on, 19. 10, 11.
I'm all excited.
There are no animals on this road.
I'm all excited about hunting. Survival. Okay.
There she goes.
0 animals.
Yeah, we come back. Nothing, guys. Dead. Dead as a doornail.
You want to try?
There's cactus.
So you
Yeah, you can go try.
head up ahead of the group and start going after one animal that looks like a deer. You're not exactly certain just because of how quickly it was moving out of your field of vision, and spend about 30 minutes kind of chasing into the jungle before you realize this thing is gone and we're going to get lost if we don't head back. So you decide to head back and both
So I decided to head back
I'm like 3 minutes into the jungle. I'm like, we should
and
go
get
back.
onto the carpet, and that way we won't get lost. So we can hunt from the carpet.
Nice. Can we try again?
Try again.
We go higher. We go higher.
I'll say this. You get on the carpet, and with an aerial view, you don't see really any of the beasts that move in and out on the forest floor, but there are birds that are moving through the area, and you can try and shoot them down and get them.
Does it look like I could actually hit one?
You could probably hit one. There's a lot of them, so
I
it's
shall
like
try.
duck hunting, basically.
What kind of birds?
There are large birds of prey.
Uh-huh.
They appear to be some type of jungle version of an eagle.
Jungle eagle.
Oh, I can't kill a jungle eagle. It's like a federal crime in Warminster.
Dang it.
So I shoot at one.
No.
That is still a 15.
15. Okay. It wasn't a natural one, was it?
No, 7.
Okay.
Oh, can you imagine? I have a plus 15, plus 14. I've cheated. Yeah. I did go through my character sheet and make sure, now that it's on D&D Beyond, that I did. I was like, did I have everything right?
You do, in fact, hit one. It wasn't the one that you were aiming for.
I don't know that. I don't tell you.
As it ducks out of the way, there is one that's like sitting on a branch.
The stupid one.
It was natural selection.
Like, yeah.
This one needed to go.
Darwin killed that bird.
Darwin killed that one. It hits it and takes it right like below the throat, and it just
It ends a rather already pretty depressing life.
You're not certain what led the bird to all of its life choices that brought it to that moment, but
It was like the ugly duckling, right?
this seemed to be the climactic ending of its life. It came into this world as it left this world,
Yeah.
Dumb.
sitting
Yeah. Aw.
and just waiting for things to happen.
Okay, you feel bad about that. That's what you feel bad about. Of
I
all
know.
the things,
I
that's...
think it's funny, and I want to see what happens when I feed it to the bears. So I'm ready to go. Can we find it?
I don't know. I hope.
Yes, you can. It doesn't take too much time.
Is it enough for us and the rabid beasts?
It would be.
How much do these things eat, do you know?
So they have a supply for 30 days already, but I
Oh, so we can eat this.
We could eat this.
Can we give them the guts and innards? And
Yeah.
things? Okay.
I don't know, but I want to try.
Yeah.
You certainly can. You would know because you are quite the Iron Chef.
But once you take the feathers off, it's all the thing. It will taste like chicken.
It probably will taste like chicken. There is enough meat to give probably one portion to each of the side Joe, and enough for a small meal.
Oh, can I get another one on the way back, maybe?
Absolutely.
Do I need to roll survival or just an
attack.
Just an attack?
There are plenty of.
Hey, 13 plus 9, which
Yes.
is 22.
Yeah, take it. There's another one. Now you have enough for a big meal.
This is just like hits it in the wing. It's like you have to like follow in this.
It's awkward. It's a blood trail.
Yeah. Okay, so is that enough for everybody, or do we need more?
There is enough for everybody.
Okay.
Was it a clean shot, or were they? Or did you have to kill?
The last one was a clean shot. It was.
The first one was it like wheezing when it went over the fire?
Oh no, it was dead. It was quite dead.
It's like it got its vocal cord. It's like it's like trying to scream out. So as we're cooking and preparing over, we could just stop for dinner or lunch.
It's early, right? I mean,
Okay, so for lunch.
Yeah.
You're probably getting about lunch.
So now that we killed something for lunch, I want to ask Evendur. I want the DM to listen. Do you know of any objects like a magical rotisserie? Something like that. Something that traveled with us that we can catch our things on. Do you know of anything like that? Maybe that we might find one day on our adventures. Some kind of
Do I make an Arcana check on that or something, or
Yes, or history.
history
Does
check?
the DM make an Arcana check or history?
I have ideas.
So 13.
13. When you were in college, basically,
You really need to finish your degree.
every
more expensive.
He was there for like 7 years. Took all these random classes.
Your parents, and that's what we're doing. We're going to cut off.
Kayaking.
Right, that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get your parents after we drop off the.
We gotta get all our stuff back. Those 3 books and all my goals.
Uh-huh.
So
Do you think your parents have one, maybe?
maybe we'll see when we get there.
it wasn't something that your parents used, but at the university in
Watoon.
Watoon, basically everything in the school was run by some sort of magic. So even the cleaning staff had basic spells that would help to clean out an area, and it was very efficient. The serving and cooking staff did indeed have various items that they would use that were imbued with magical properties so that their jobs would also be easier. They would make food and mix it in the air and bake it using spells in front of them so they could make sure that everything was evenly spread. And there were some pots that were used that seemed to be magical in nature because everything that you had at that university tasted like it was done to perfection.
Mm-hmm. So I remember seeing stuff like that at the Watoon College of Wizardry.
Of witchcraft and
Yeah.
wizardry.
But yeah,
Watoon
stuff like that does exist. So, well, what do you have? I'm assuming you want one.
I just think it'd be just a really great item to have for the party.
Yeah, I'm sure we
Stick
can.
on the side of the wagon.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can get something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd make the food. Do you want to take an hour? Because if we take an hour, we can have the benefits to that
Short rest.
gourmand thing. Yeah,
Sure.
we'll do it.
Excellent.
It's going to take an hour. But,
You stop.
if
we're going to do this right, we're going to have to do this right. So you take an hour for your lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has the benefit of the gourmand feed, which is 2 extra hit dice.
2 extra HP, and then you have resistance against poison. No, disease.
Disease.
Yeah.
But you would know if the food was poison.
And well, that's always.
Right.
Yeah.
So he would know if he poisoned you. I don't think that's the case. Right?
Am I allowed to take more time to copy the spell down?
You can during this hour, yes.
Okay, so 8 hours total for the spell. I did 2 and that plus 1, so 3 hours total.
Yes.
So,
That is correct. Now you're 3 out of 8 of the hours.
5 more to go. Yeah.
I think it's like 5 lines to write that.
Oh yeah. I'm really
Yeah.
It's very important. In fact, it's something that you are being almost obsessive with writing this down during this hour break where all of these smells are wafting, this aroma just smells delicious, and it does taste like really good chicken. And the all of this that's going on around you, you are just focused, copying down line by line this entire thing, and it's very painstakingly slow work because it has to be done right.
We'll try to save some food, but no promises.
You do also use some minor incantations to make it so that the ink will be more of a permanent fixture to this book, so that it's... Anyways, it's a whole process.
Okay.
And you still don't know the command word to open the other book. So, right. Okay, so lunch is delicious. It proceeds just as you would hope.
10 plus, whatever. Do I do tools?
After
I don't know. Make a roll. Performance.
as the meal is coming to a close, you hear the bushes around you start rustling with the movement of someone who's pushing through, or something pushing through the
I really hope it's
foliage. Really hope it's
he's gonna be naked for sure.
I want to get my crossbow. Ready.
Okay, it is next to you. You have it ready. Well, you have your wrist crossbows.
But I'll use my regular.
All right.
Well, she activates those and like.
I'm just like all kinds of ready. Might be an army. Might
You look
be
at
an
you have like
animal.
you have wrist crossbows on your like shins now.
In case you fall prone.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you have your light crossbow.
Can I make an investigation check on what's moving through?
So it would be perception, but yes.
Perception.
You can roll with advantage. Everyone's kind of paying attention right now.
Yeah, alright. Garbage. 5 plus 2, 7.
It's kind of misleading the way that the jungle has been moving around you. There's a light breeze that comes through, so after you hear that first noise, you start looking, and then the wind starts moving all of the branches, so it's hard to tell where exactly it's coming from. When,
Do I? Oh, sorry.
You guys want to call out to it, maybe?
when suddenly you hear, "Oh, what is that smell that I'm smelling?"
Oh.
I'm like,
Something.
I start looking around for any leftovers. Do you have any leftovers?
There's probably a little portion that
Do I recognize the voice?
you do.
Yeah. Okay.
You take his. He didn't eat his yet. He's all right.
No, I need something.
So I'll take some leftovers.
An owl swoops into the area and then has a series of it's like a tiny owl, like a
Not like Shajax.
not like Shajax.
Pitch black.
No, this one is kind of a light brown color, and it's probably the size of a softball. So it's like this tiny
I want to catch it.
little owl. It flies in and hoots excitedly, just. It
I don't
makes
like
a
it.
Yeah,
weird.
it was like we put this cousin.
I want to like. Is there some? Do we have like a blanket or something? I want to like try to just catch it.
I mean, I don't have my
Or-
blanket out.
I don't want to hurt it
I'm
yet.
like going through my portable hole.
Oh,
You can certainly try to catch it.
I want to try to grab something and catch it.
So you will make a dexterity check.
Interference.
Oh, and
Nope. Just kidding. God.
wait, what was your first roll?
9.
You just
I don't know. What's my dexterity? What
You have a
did you
+2 to dexterity.
say? So 11.
Okay, so the bird swoops and it's just out of reach. You try to quickly grab something. You grab your magic carpet, swing it at it, and it flies out of the range of your magic carpet and disappears very quickly. It's like a split second. Like it does like 2 circles really quick and then flies back in the direction that you're hearing the voice. And there's some other hooting that comes from the bushes. And an excited "Ooh!" and you hear just like this as she pushes through various branches and finally makes it to the clearing. And you see coming through is a filthy-looking dwarf that has a bird nest in her hair that's slightly askew. and there are, what you can tell, there are probably bird eggs inside the nest.
Does she like keep her head?
No, she just keeps going, and it bounces and kind
wow.
of. They're somehow woven into the hair, so it's like jostling her hair, but
She has dreadlocks for sure.
it's
Oh,
definite
yeah.
dread. Yes, yes.
Just one lock. Just
Yeah.
one dread.
Filthy hair,
It's like a pillow.
and the bird that had made the nest in the hair appeared to be working with her so that the nest is secured tightly to the
I
top.
thought the bird was gonna be stuck in the hair.
Can't get out. The hair probably has magical properties that are taking the animals and keeping them inside her hair. No, she makes it to the clearing, and her eyes go a little wide at seeing all of you again.
Well, I shaved my beard.
Yes,
I shaved my beard because I'm super athletic and fit now. Got down to my fighting weight.
that's right. All this traveling and dungeoneering.
Trying to cut back on the
Pastries.
pipe and the pastries.
A little
by,
bit.
yeah,
So,
pastries by, just necessity, right? So,
I know, it's-
pastries.
it's like it's good to have.
Oi, Messa, how you doing? It's good to see you.
What are you doing back so early? I said that you said it to be at least 2 weeks.
Oh, it's just our business finished to wrap itself up early, so here we are, surprise! We made you some dinner, hoping you'd come.
I guess not.
Well, it is lunchtime. I suppose I could eat.
Are you a vegetarian?
Well, by rights, yes. But
I won't tell anybody if you won't.
if this is something that it appears the law of the jungle might be in effect here. So, if you, how did you come about
Found
finding
it.
the meal?
I found it with my arrow inside of it. So it was found.
No,
But nothing went to waste. We fed it to these little furry things. Do you know what these things are called?
you have the Saijo. Where'd you find some?
But careful, is the female or the male? The mean one.
The female.
Now, careful with the female. I don't know which one it is, but she's the angry one.
That's that one, but if you obviously the females are a lot more aggressive.
How can you
than
tell
the
from
males.
so far away?
You look at it.
They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
They have different coloring. One's black and one's brown, but
Oh.
I mean they look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To you.
Oh, okay. I just look at it.
You can tell. I can tell.
Very well. But anyways, yeah, interesting. Here's your food. Give her a fork. Do you use forks?
You don't need a fork up here. You got what's good for you. She takes a little piece and puts it in her mouth. And I thank you. She puts it down on the ground.
So I take the meat. And I guess whoever we have any sides or anything, we'll give her extra sour.
I will say, it has a bit of spice on it. So whoever it was that's been preparing it for you, it's been doing a good job. But again, the meat is not something that I am akin to having on a daily. So
Demitri asks her if she's heard of Mythos.
You gotta do it in a Russian accent.
Demitri.
Dimitri.
oh,
You talk way deep down like this.
Mythos.
Have you heard of the mythos?
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Does she
when did
notice
you-
the mirror isn't there? It's your-
When did you pick up a fellow dwarf?
To tell her all about it? I like start washing dishes.
Dimitri explains to her, well, I was in Warminster, but they had opportunity for a fellow traveling companion, so I am accompanying them.
But it's a funny thing, Amir, he just, he got in a little bit of trouble and he's not back with us, but didn't even know where he went.
I'm sorry, who?
Exactly. So, here's Demitri. Yeah.
Well,
That's a negative, Ruby. Amir has been forgotten.
I'm sorry, I don't know who this the Mythros is, but I spend a lot of time on my own and don't really have much way by conversation. So
Have you used the staff I gave you?
Oh, yes, it's very helpful. And she just starts hissing off into the jungle, and you see this large python start moving towards the. Yes, it's terrifying. People who.
No!
He's already, one's already gone. You don't even know.
I see the
The
python.
owl's gonna take the other one.
Scooping them up underneath my robe.
Yeah, she finishes hissing. It sounds, like you're not exactly sure what she's saying to the snake. It sounds like she's trying to provoke it. You don't understand this conversation that she's having with it, but it comes right up to her and she just pets its head and it licks her hand.
All of us are all like,
right. Yeah. It starts coiling up and it starts resting on her shoulder. So it has been quite helpful. Some of the tasks, the different chores that we have during the day. Sasira has been very helpful during all of it.
So she turned your rod into that python.
yeah, remember I couldn't do it.
Because
Can't you?
I drew it.
it requires it to be
Oh.
accurate.
So, funny
You
thing,
can't do it now.
no, the trade that we made for the necklace,
Aye.
I don't have it with me.
What is that?
You don't have the
No,
tools?
I could, I could either trade you something else to get it back, or perhaps you could take the python.
Well, it's quite irresponsible of you to be losing things.
I know what my mother said the same thing.
It's a bit.
How about we pay you in gold?
Don't offer gold.
What have I got to do with gold? There's gold all around these parts.
I show her a bar of the soap.
What did he lose again? I mean, what is he?
The tooth, remember the tooth just turns into different weapons?
I don't remember that. Anyways.
Yeah, it's super long.
He just like.
So I show her the soap. How about some soap, something that you could clean me up a little bit?
I am clean. What are you talking about?
Well, just before you eat or something.
I just bathed last month, so I should be good now for.
Do you wash your hands after you do your business?
Who's gonna wash their hands after they do their business? Nobody has time for that when you got all the animals.
Start. Well, I really apologize. Obviously the fair thing to do is for you to keep the staff of the python. I hope it comes in handy.
See, so
Unless, of course, there was some way we could make a different trade for another item. Is there something you need, something you've been looking for?
What more do you have that you could trade that would be more than the staff of the python or Grimwood's tooth?
Got the soap.
Aye, but like I said,
Yeah.
who's gonna need any soap?
I'm gonna try casting suggestion on her.
Oh,
All right, I will make a. What would you like to suggest?
I'm gonna tell her that this 500 gold here is an excellent bargain for the staff. I mean the python staff, and she can use the gold to buy possibly another, tooth or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe is that too long?
No.
500 gold.
So the suggestion then
That's a lot
would
of
Maybe
be.
gems. Maybe she'd like gems.
Do we have-
No, you need to add something to our burn list. Like something that would help keep it steady, maybe.
I don't know. If
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
I don't know. Cantilever.
So then you were trying to suggest that she take the gold.
500 gold for the staff. Yeah.
I pick up one of the male Punjab. Maybe one of these we could trade for you.
Put him down.
Sideshows.
Yeah.
The little bears.
The soju bears.
So
You hold it up, and Riven, are you doing anything with him holding up one of the
I
bears?
just look at him like, give it
I'll
down.
get you a new one.
No,
I'm not
no, you're not giving it away.
I can ride her when she flies. So maybe you like spells, of course. Yeah. My friend has some. Do you use a spell book?
Well, so the suggestion.
Oh yeah.
You
yeah.
cast.
Never mind.
Yes.
I did.
Most of this going. So you suggest that she take the gold as an exchange, as a compensation for the trouble.
yeah.
She looks down and kind of frowns and, well, it might plenty more than I have currently to trade with people on the road, so
Martha might have. Oh,
I suppose. Very well, I'll take the 500 gold.
Martha might have like a little potion or something.
For what? You're gonna trade that instead?
Yeah, instead of 500 gold.
Well, I don't wanna. I mean,
I would totally trade this stuff. It's not here.
You pass the bag of the coin purse?
yeah. I had 2 coin purses, so I mean, I
Perfect.
suppose I'll use one of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Season. I will. Thank you, I guess. It's a bit of a disappointment that the tooth is gone. So I'll take then the staff of the python and the 500 gold and just be on my way. But
Wait, hold on. What?
you're
Oh, I was trading. Oh no, there's a misunderstanding. I was trading the gold for the staff of the python.
Oh, you want the staff of the python? Well, why didn't you say so? And she snaps her fingers and the python comes off of her and begins turning into wood and standing straight up, and it kind of has like this snarl at the end of its mouth now. And she's like, oh yes, here you go, lad.
Oh, thank you so much. Did you want this back?
We need to give it back. Perhaps you can carry it now.
Alright,
We're gonna have to take care of it.
This is cool. I like this.
So she just has 500 gold.
Yes.
How bad do I feel? 500 gold is a lot. It's twice as much as what I
That's
got.
a lot, but she also has no use for it. She doesn't care about
She
it.
could trade.
She could, but she doesn't care about it. She wants stuff. Like,
Well,
what
it
if-
looks like she has just traded. And it's hard to tell when Evendur's casting suggestions, so you might not have even noticed that he was doing that.
So we're good. We're good then.
Hey, I'll be on my way. Safe journey to you.
How do you use this thing, by the way? Is there a command word or something that?
Well, you got to know the ways of nature, lad. You don't look to me like someone who spends much time out under the stars.
But I mean, I could learn. This is more druid magic, I'm assuming.
She reaches her hands out and grabs your hands and turns them over. Look, lad, you don't even have a single callus on your hand.
I snicker.
Yeah.
Now you go take your delicate hands and go do what you do with them, and
I snicker again.
we'll say, if you're ever interested in learning a little bit more about the ways of the world, then you can come and find me.
Okay.
I'd be more than happy to spend some time with a young man such as yourself.
Oh, well
Not
then.
That's what she really wants.
Well,
To trade.
hey.
Oh, I didn't. That flew over my head. I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Right. It's like, for people who aren't dwarves, seeing a dwarven woman, it can be off-putting at best. Seeing this dwarven woman
It's awesome.
is
It's like
an experience.
A bucket list challenge.
It's like a bucket list.
Yeah.
It's worse than anything that you could have imagined. So it goes way over your head because it's not like obviously you're not interested. So
Before she walks off, I want to ask her. So, Messa, is there something else that you would need besides this gold? I get the feeling that you don't have any value in the gold.
the gold, I'll just take it. I'll trade with people who are passing on the road.
Is there something we can help you with? We're pretty able-bodied and
Do
resourceful.
you need us to help build something?
Maybe an old ruin we can help you clear out, or something we could help you track down. A beast you can't seem to tame in the area.
No, the ruins of Njord have not had any problems as of late.
What's in the ruins?
Well, it was an elven fortress, as far as I can tell. But that must have been centuries ago now that it's been abandoned. It seems to be overrun by some type of foul spirits. But
Would you?
me and my friends, we keep it in check so it doesn't
If we were able
take
to,
the rest of the...
if we were able to clear it out for you, would it be a better trade?
When she looks at the group and there's only 5 of you.
3 tonight, actually, but
It's,
we can figure it out.
it seems like there's only 3 of you, but there's 5 of you, and that's saying something. I don't know that it would be wise, but if you like, I don't have any problem taking you to the area, and if you'd like to see what you can do, but...
If you were to rank it on the level system, level 1 being like 10 hit points, and level 30 being practically a god.
Sorry, hit points.
Yes. So on a scale of 1 to 20, where would you like a 5?
The danger level.
Yeah.
Like danger level, you're putting numbers out there that I'm sorry that it's not.
Can you
might have said that
Okay.
I don't spend much time around people, so I'm sorry, but I'm not getting what you're
From
trying
an
to say.
owl to a Tyrannosaurus Rex, where would you put the
Tyrannosaurus
the
Rex?
dragon?
Dragon.
Yeah. Well, it could be that there might be a dragon in there.
So from a kobold to a red dragon, how difficult would you say?
Well, I haven't seen any red dragons in there, but that's not to say that there isn't a dragon in there, because there was one time I was passing through and I did see a large shadow fly over the top of it. It could have been once a dragon, but it's probably been 50 years since I've seen the last dragon up close and personal. So,
Did you see it local around here somewhere? What color was it?
Well, it was a cream dragon, hung out mostly
Big
in
or
the
small?
swamps.
Was it big? Was it small? How old was it?
It was large, but we did a couple of trades, and it has stayed in its own swamp. So
Where is that at? Is he still there, you think?
it's just off to the north.
Where exactly?
We
We're
would get
adventurers, we have to start asking these things.
so.
So when you say that the elves live there, or there are elves that use that
The
now,
fortress of north.
and it is occupied by elves.
Well, as best I can tell, it belonged to the elves because of the trees and the way that they're formed.
It used to belong to the elves.
I haven't seen an elf around the area.
Not even like a dark colored elf.
No. What are you talking about?
We've heard tales of dark elves.
Elves with darks.
Yes.
No.
You haven't seen any of
anything
those?
I like.
Okay.
So the ruin is off to the south.
Yeah, but the dragon, you were going to tell us what the dragon was?
Well, right north of the ruins, right?
It's between by the way of the forest. If you're going north, there's a human settlement, and it's probably 2 days south of the human settlement.
Could you take us there?
I could.
Would you be willing to?
If you like, it's not somewhere to be able to take your beasts or your wagons.
Well, no, so maybe you can take us to the fortress of Njord, and then after that we can...
Either one of the places doesn't have any place where you can fit a wagon through.
Do you think it'd be safe here? Could we hide it?
Oh, we wouldn't leave anything here, especially on the road and people passing by. They'll just take it as they go.
I don't think the DM wants us to go to either of these places.
Are you sorry, DM? No,
It's a friend of
It's our
ours.
friend.
Aye.
He's got multiple personality disorder.
Oh, the elf that was with you.
Yes, that was him. Just north of Four
So
Arrows.
how, is it a 2 days journey to get there?
Well, 2 days south of the human settlement. From
South?
here is probably a 7-day journey.
7-day journey.
Wow.
Are we going to be able to put up with Messa for 7 days?
That's the real question.
Yeah, it's not the 50-year-old dragon.
That's fine.
The swamp itself it's
So can you
rather
do you have
extensive.
any experience with this, like an Arcana check or whatever? Like
For
like what that dragon, the swamp dragon might
It would
be?
be a history check.
History check, I'll do
To
that.
see if you even know the area that she's talking about.
Okay. 21.
Oh.
Back when you were in college. You took a class on this.
There
I showed up to class that day. Yeah.
There's only a handful of swamps that are actually in the kingdom of, in the kingdom. And the swamp that she could be indicating is south of Baradora, which is north of Watun. So it was kind of the surrounding area, like a geography of the area lesson.
Is it north of Watun?
It would be northwest of Watun, south of Baradora.
Is that? I don't have my sheet.
That's like the
Is that
closest.
where I'm from? I'm from that area, I think. Or I sided with that area.
There's the map.
Can we draw on this? No, this is your next copy.
That's my nice copy. I could print out another one, but I mean,
Where is it? There, oh, you know.
do you know if there's a place where I can add the map to
Like add
our
attachments?
campaign? I'll look it up later.
South of Baradora?
Right.
That's where I'm from.
What? Are you having this discussion while Messa's like, you're explaining, oh, there's a swamp that's in this area. That could be what she's talking about. But
While they talk, I want to ask Messa, how common are dragons in Dunholm? No, Messa.
the world is
Dunholm,
Dunholm.
yes.
The world is this
Messa.
continent.
So I would know something about that then, maybe.
Possibly. You can go ahead and roll a history check if you're having this discussion with Evendur. But you spend most of your time
Drunk.
in well, you spend most of your time around people and settlements because that's where you have traditionally made your living, is living off of what you could garner from other people. And
History.
So how common are they?
if you're asking Messa or you're asking
Yes,
me?
Messa.
Well, there's dragons everywhere as far as I'm concerned, if you know where to find them. I wouldn't say they're common because you don't quite see them wandering around on the roads of this. Well, you don't see them wandering around on the roads.
So a dragon like you're talking about, how big of an area does it need to survive?
Oh, well, it hunts throughout the swamp. I know that
Is it that swamp right
has
there?
quite a bit that
that might be a
it is able to take care of there as well, so it hasn't been needing to leave or attacking any humans that might be Yeti.
Okay.
So
As could tend to happen
I'm
with
from
dragons.
Baradora, but during the war I migrated over to
I found near the border.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have some knowledge, but I was probably
Mostly in the city,
yeah.
not really going out into
No,
the jungle,
yeah,
and
no. Not until I moved to Iceland.
especially not into a swamp. Like it wouldn't be like, I really want to go to the swamp today.
I was like in the village.
Yeah, so Baradora is a big city, and it has the keep. There is a duke there, Duke Oroth, and he maintains that surrounding area and the populace. So it was a little bit too close. It's like living in a place where a big enforcer of the law is located.
That's what I was looking for.
So,
Okay.
good reasons to
Where are
move
we
away.
right now?
Do you think we?
Oh, you are leaving Lawminster going to Icon.
That little red.
You're on the
Have
second
we crossed
dot.
the border yet?
It's hazy on where the border is.
Where are
Okay.
your parents at?
Crane Strong was up here, so what we were going to do was
Go
Oh,
to
where-
Watun
Ifon and go to Watun over here.
and then charter a boat.
Where are we going from here to Icon to Watun?
We got to drop
Drop
off.
off the goods.
Oh, okay. Go to Watun, then take a boat.
Yeah.
But where's this? Oh, but yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of on the way. It's a little out of the way, but
We can do a circle, I guess. Warminster, Ifon, Barra.
Yes.
Baradora. What is it's south of that, right?
Yeah, so somewhere there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Go to Watun and then
Do
go.
any of us know about where the elven ruins of Muir are?
You don't. She just said it was to the south.
It's right here somewhere. So we're here.
No,
we're
that's
here.
the dragon.
Oh, I thought they were together.
No, because they're closer. The dragon is 7 days north from where we're at. South of Baradora. northwest of Watun, so here, around here. And then we actually, she didn't give us directions to where the fortress of Noir was.
No. Only that it was south.
Drakkar Noir.
So let's go find a dragon.
Well,
What do you want
maybe
to
we
do?
could do that when we're, like on a level of 1 to 20, we could be like a level of 15.
So what
I
we
was thinking.
could do is go to, we're going to Icon, right? We could go to Icon, drop off the goods, maybe get some recruits,
And then go do
and
that.
then go to the,
How busy of a city is Verador?
it's pretty big.
It's pretty big.
Yeah. Pretty busy.
Maybe we should get somebody from Verador. But then we're going to have somebody tell us where the dragon is. The mess is going to have to come with us all the time. I know.
I'm in the other way.
No, if you're going into cities, I'm gonna have to say I'll be staying away.
How long does it take to get to the fortress of Noir?
Oh, well, so for a group this size, now you said you're gonna leave your wagons, you're on the road?
Yeah, we're going to leave Demitri and Martha. Could we do this in like one
Well, can't Martha
2-hour
do like
session?
No, okay, so
Can't Martha do like an invisibility?
Martha and
it won't
Demitri,
sustain.
I am going to have to say I'm going to need to come with you if I'm going to earn back my life debt that I owe you.
We can do that with the dragons. But somebody's going to stay here and watch the wagon. Demitri.
I don't know how I feel about watching dragon or watching.
Oh, Rudy just texted. He said it's fine.
That's not what you
hey, higher mercy, kill the dragon. I'm watching it, and yeah, he did say a picture of it.
Yeah.
You got it, okay.
Alright, you guys want to go to the Fortress of Noir or just head back to Icon?
How far away?
If we're going to derail the campaign, we got to do it now.
Alright, so if you want to go to the ruins of Nyon, they are 3 hours to the south.
The
From
south.
where we are now.
Aye, but if you
Go
want
back to
to take,
Wallminster?
Yeah, a little bit south.
there's a glade where we could probably take the horses and the wagons and leave them there. I can't vouch that the wagons will remain unmolested by other beasts that could be in the area if you've got food that you need to, it'll probably get.
I don't think there's any food in
There
there.
is food.
Just yours, though,
Not
for the
theirs.
animals' food.
Yeah.
I thought it's like a lunchbox size, right? Hang it up in
No.
a tree or something.
You like put everything
Put it in the
on your
bag
carpet and like
Oh yeah, you can put it in the bag of holding. Or the portable can go in the
there's only
portable
10
hole,
minutes of air in the bag of holding.
but it's dead. That's perfect.
Talking about the meat.
That means it'll have less.
Food.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put Saijo in there.
No.
You pull them up. Oh gosh. Oh,
Hurry, cook 'em.
Siva.
Oh, Saba.
Trindle or whatever.
Tribble.
Saba and Triple.
No, I understand. So you never kind of gave me a level 1 to 20 about how, like, is this
So which
4
one?
or 5?
Well, I always use my friends to take care of the spirits when they start.
Which one would be more beneficial for you, personally? Which one, if we had to pick one,
Oh,
not that we have to pick one, but would you prefer us go?
The dragon isn't a bother for me. We just made a trade in this season.
No, we're going to the fortress to go to help you. Can't be a dragon.
Well, if you see, I guess it's up to you what you want to do. I don't have any numbers for you. I
I like
could,
Rude
What was that?
Hire mercenaries to kill a dragon. And get
so, do you want to go to the glade, or do you want to head on your way?
I think Evendur, you need to take a vote. It's got to be unanimous.
yeah.
Riven and I both want to go, but
Dragon
That's
that's really ambitious.
no,
That-
we're
I
talking
think
about
we're
the
gonna
ghosties.
postpone that.
Okay, alright, so.
Yeah, but maybe going back south, like it's only 3 hours.
Right now it's noon, so
So
that'll
we
take
can
you.
still make it. We can make it to the ruins. Oh, awesome! Just in time for nighttime. In these.
Are you guys on board then?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, sure. I'm down. I'll go.
Well, Martha says, I'm definitely going, so we're going to have to go to the glade first.
That sounds good.
I guess you'll just follow me then. I haven't ever shown anybody the glade. This will be exciting to me. Adventures just
That's
walking.
our objective.
Messa can teach me how to use a staff.
Yeah.
Down there.
She
just does it real quick, like this.
Wait, what?
She grabs it, turns it into the python, and then turns it back and hands it
How
to
did you do that?
So you gotta channel the oneness with the surroundings. You gotta find the center. This is while you're like talking and moving, and now that you're moving off the path, the wagons and the horses are having a very like it's all getting jostled around. It's not very well tended.
So I want to. I don't know whose wagon I'm on. I want to stop my wagon, get on my carpet, get my soju bears, and what else do I need? That's it.
So nobody's probably on the wagon. It's probably really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But,
And just fly like right behind and above.
Sure. So you're flying. The wagons are uncomfortably bouncing. Martha is making it work as best she can.
how do the wagon wheels look? Are they?
They're taking some wear and tear on the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not certain if they will make it the entire
Does the
hour.
banding look like it's splitting or?
No, it's just like it's shaking so much that things are probably going to start coming loose and might fall.
And what do we have inside that thing?
You have blacksmithing tools in one, and you have your seasoning and food stuff.
Oh no, that's all in the portable.
Oh, you emptied out the wagon and put it in
Well, just my crap. I mean, anybody else can put stuff in there if they want.
Nobody else really had anything in there. It was all of your cooking stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I would say the other one is probably empty.
Magic rotisserie is gonna come in real handy, guys.
You
Can't
probably
wait.
make it with the blacksmithing tools.
What a magic one? How do you make magic one? Maybe like that. Anyway. Okay.
So Messa keeps walking, but you can decide if you want to ditch the wagon a little bit shorter. You've probably made it like 15 minutes into deep forest, and the difference between the jungle that you were in, there's less vines. It's just more like closely growing trees, like trees that are growing really close together, and it's kind of obscuring the sun from view. So it's a little bit shadier and darker as you're walking through this forested area. The creatures that you're coming across are smaller in size, and you see like foxes and you see rabbits and things like that. And the wagons, if you left them here, it's possible that beasts would come across them and just check them out, but it doesn't look like there's any sign of level of life in the area.
How are you guys intending? So I got my carpet.
She's fucking, hey
What
guys!
are y'all doing?
Oh, we're gonna
Are
walk.
y'all intending to
So
walk?
we need to unhook the horses and bring them to the glade so they can eat something.
You're
Right?
gonna ride them?
But
Well,
I
we're
think
only
we
be there.
can,
Oh.
right?
So we're only be
If
there
you
for
want
a
to,
few hours.
I'm sure they'll stay in the glade. I can talk to them so make sure that they'll
Look, can they stay here? Where are they going to be the safest?
I wouldn't say here. If they stay at the glade, they should be safe.
Okay.
So, to hurry this, how many people do we have? So we have 5.
With
plus
Messa.
Messa.
We just put the alarm on the like on the wagons. It'll be fine.
Do you know alarm?
Well, what I was going to say is I could use my wand to turn one of the horses into a giant bird that can carry people.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But I don't know how many people we can carry.
Probably one.
One.
A giant bird would probably be able to carry one person uncomfortably.
Is there something else?
Well,
that
you know,
can carry?
maybe they'll just walk.
What about a llama?
An alpaca? Yes. Yeah.
That
llama.
could
A
carry.
horse can also carry people. The horses can fit through the forest.
I was
Can
trying
we
to.
ride the horses though, or is it too uneven? Or
You could ride the horses.
Yeah.
It
how many horses do
will.
we have?
It was mostly like the wagon was having a hard time because it doesn't have shocks on it or anything. So
What? How many wagons do you have? How many horses?
2 wagons.
4 horses?
You guys had enough for every one of you to be on a horse.
Man, I was gonna make Demitri be in front of me.
Oh, they 2 horses per wagon, so there were 4 horses, and you have carpet. So
Oh yeah. So horses it is.
okay.
Is Messa?
But
Can she
there
cruise
is-
fast?
Oh, okay. You probably could still
Messa?
put
That's a lot
Demitri
of
on
fun,
yours.
man. Oh,
And get
we'll
Messa
make
over.
Demitri and Messa go together. Is that? Do you think it'd be okay?
Yeah, I think so. As long as we're okay. As long as this is okay.
You won't appreciate it, but I wouldn't debase the animal with myself on top of it. If you don't mind, they'll just move on ahead of you, and you can try and keep up with the horses.
That was a little bit. That was unnecessary for her to say.
Dang, Demitri.
Yeah.
She didn't even want to ride with you. You got turned
I
down.
like sharpen my spurs. I'm riding a horse. I don't know how to walk in this crowd.
So she moves slightly ahead of the group, and when you're like thinking, okay, this is a tiny little dwarf lady, I guess we're going to be going really slow this whole time, she moves over to one of the trees and touches it, and she flattens and then enters the tree and then appears 100 yards ahead of you, like just out of one of the other trees ahead of you. Oh wait, it's just down this way! She yells and starts moving off in that direction.
Wait, is it something we can all do?
No, you're gonna have to just follow up. All right, here we go. And she like waits like for you to get closer, and then she steps into the tree and just appears another 100 yards away.
So I want to fly up to where she is.
All right.
And like, I'm not going to wait for the group. I'm just going to follow her like wherever she goes.
Well, she's waiting for the entire group, so you.
Yeah, I know she will. But
Well, you're all moving at like the same rate because your cart moves as fast as the horses are moving.
Okay.
okay.
So you don't get there before anyone else, but you are doing it more gracefully because you're on a carpet and you're just like sitting there watching everybody around you, and it goes really fast. There's a certain point where like the trees kind of open up to a field, and she's all right. No, just go to the opposite side of this field, all right? And then she touches the tree again and just appears on the opposite side of the field and is there waiting.
What sound is made? Is it like a?
It sounds like. Well, you're not ever close enough when she steps out of it, so you don't know what the noise makes when she steps out of it. But when she goes in, it's like like the shifting of mass in an area. Like you don't. It sounds weird. Like rocks moving, like trees falling, like various sounds of nature are made when she steps into the
Pretty
tree.
cool little trick.
So she continuously just keeps ahead of you, and you aren't able to hold any conversation with her during the walk. But from what you could tell, she probably was just spouting off more tree hugger nonsense. So.
You're liberal for sure.
Run with the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Sasira.
How do you go to college and not know? Never mind.
She definitely did not go to college.
Yeah.
So she makes it. It is an hour, like almost to the minute, that she gets you to where there's this beautiful glade. There's this lake that looks pristine and glassy and undeterred from anything. There is a waterfall off on the side that is feeding into the lake, and there's a river on the other side that kind of heads to the south.
Now, you'd think they put this on a map, you know?
You would think that.
The area itself, it looks just
There's like
pristine,
Cool.
and she has headed in a southwest direction. So you're heading southwest from where you were off the road, and she doesn't seem to have any problem moving around or.
Do we see
identifying where she is.
the fortress or any
No.
sign of it at all? Or is it
So-
on like a hill far away?
This is hour 1 into the 3-hour journey, and because of the covering of the trees, there's not there's not anything that you're able to really see in any great distance because of the forest that is around you.
So if she can talk to the horses, and then we'll kind of let them do whatever she says.
Yeah.
Take their saddles off, I guess.
So she speaks with the horses for a brief minute and assures you that they will probably stay in the area.
Probably.
So how will we find her when we get back? When we come back?
Oh no, she's coming with us.
I'm taking you too.
I thought she was gonna stay and watch over the horses.
Do you want me to stay here?
No, we want you to come
the
with us.
direction. if
No,
you
it's
want.
believe me.
No,
Yep.
no.
No,
There's a stone path. You just follow that way, and
yeah, we'd probably get lost. Would help us. You know?
well, when the stones end, that's when it gets tricky because then you got to follow the trees, and
She
then
teleports and doesn't really know.
it should get you right there.
Yeah. You just touch 2-3 trees and then you're there.
Yeah, and then you're there.
Yeah, so just come with us. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll be fine here. You'll be absolutely fine.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We go.
So yeah, she
We go.
now on foot. She's just walking with you and going off in that direction. She's very fast for a little dwarf, and the path through the forest starts out with that kind of peaceful feeling that you had when you were in the glade overlooking. There was just flowers growing spontaneously everywhere. There were bees moving around, and you move off in that direction. And after about an hour of traveling through this dense wood, it feels darker, and not in the sense that the sun is setting or anything like that. Just the peaceful feeling kind of becomes ominous. Even Messa has stopped humming to herself and has stopped interjecting with like random trivia, like, "Oh, this tree."
Passwords for snakes.
Yeah, right, yeah, just she's been spouting off like nonsense about all of the things around you that's going way over your heads, and she stops that and begins moving in silence, and it gets very like you have the feeling like you are being watched while you're moving off in this direction.
It's your freaking flying monkeys.
Oh, yeah. They're protecting us. Nothing will happen bad while he's alive, though. So it's good. It's just kind of scary. It's not a big deal.
Just make a perception check on the area.
You certainly
License.
14.
Oh, 14.
Yeah.
You still get that feeling of being watched. You look around in the area, you don't see anything visible that is watching you. And you do a very thorough scan of the area. So whatever that feeling is, it's something that might just be the presence of this area is what's kind of making you feel a little off. And you're all getting that, and you're all looking around. So it's not like you are suddenly surprised by anything that you can see.
So I have this, so to the DM, so I have this see invisibility spell.
Okay.
Don't really know how to use it and what all it does, but can I use it? I don't know how long it lasts. That was one of those new ones.
Sure. I don't think it's in the player's handbook, but we'll see. Invisibility. See invisibility. It lasts for an hour. For the duration, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible. You can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Okay. I will wait until we are getting closer.
Okay.
To cast that.
Very well. And you have Gleam's Eye. So
Or do I have?
Yeah.
Do I need something to cast that?
That,
Or is that?
I believe, is just a trait that you have because you are the daughter of
Oh, okay.
someone with that bloodline. It was Dissipator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because you have that ability to cast that spell.
Okay.
Just because
I will.
somewhere along the line your dad's dad was Dissipator. Who's a bad dad. He's not only bad, he's mad, he's sad.
Never glad.
Every time he starts a fad,
Oh my word.
So you keep heading off in that direction, and yes, you move and continue moving, and there are occasional times where Messa will stop and motion everyone to stay quiet and to not move, and during those times she'll kind of like clutch something. You're not certain if there's an
Hard
object that she's no, she clutches something. You're not sure if it's an object or if she's just like doing it out of habit.
You just want me to
But
cast suggestion? Get it
No,
back?
because that's what we're doing.
she
Like,
closes her
we're going
eyes
we're
to
going do this
concentrate.
instead
and
of having a goal.
and after about 3 or 4 minutes, like a squirrel will run up and start talking to her, and she'll say, "All right, okay, it has passed for the time being, but we'll have to use a little bit more caution when moving up ahead, okay?" She keeps moving up ahead, and you're following her, like, what is this that's happening?
She didn't tell us anything?
She doesn't tell you anything, she's just talking to the squirrel. As if
You know, Messa, we're very experienced adventurers, so there's no need to worry.
But I do ask
So
her.
you say.
I do ask her if she can tell us what the squirrel really said.
Oh, well.
Squeak.
Squeak, squeaky. So, it appears that there has been a little bit of pushback from the ruins, and the bears that I normally put in charge of the area seem to have gone missing. So, we're just keeping an eye out that...
What kind of bears are they? Just little small black bears? They look like...
No, they're quite large. My friends are... They get around. They eat quite a bit, so...
They've gone missing.
Now, sometimes the bears will be bears. They'll just go off on their own. They might find a nice patch to take a nap in. And
So you're saying it may be a problem, but it may also not be a problem.
aye, that's what I'm saying.
So nothing there.
Yeah.
So it could be a problem, it could not be a problem. Either way, I'm going to use some caution. I'd say it's probably only about 10 more minutes till we get to the ruin now. So if you'd like to keep your weapons on you.
Yeah, I want to use the, what's it called? The Spellguard Shield and the Incarnate Sword. The Spellguard Shield does something, I think.
Yes. It blocks or gives you advantage on saving throws versus spells and things like that.
Yeah.
The thing's awesome. So, you continue off in this winding direction to the southwest when the trees now, where they had become more like brittle, the pine needles had kind of browned on the way here. Now there are just these dead black stumps of trees that have, some of them are rotting, some of them are fallen over. It's kind of deteriorating from the inside out, and it appears that death and decay has been radiating from wherever you are walking towards.
Messa, what kind of magic does this? What kind of powerful magic does this?
Now, if I had known the
On a
answer
scale
to
of like
that-
1, like lovers of 1.
if I could tell you the answer to that question, I think I might be able to reverse it, but right now I've only been able to keep it at bay, so
And you wouldn't-
obviously this is a travesty.
Probably not.
I don't know. I've studied and I've tried, but everything I've tried has not been able to reclaim any of the area.
And what are the bears? What do they do?
Oh, the bears, they keep us safe from anything that tries to get out.
And what's inside? What kind of things try to get out?
Dead things.
Okay. Just we're gonna get a little more detail from you now. So these things, they have bodies. They're dead and now they're living.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they have.
Like a little more detail. Like are these things like ghosts?
Are they animals? Are they spirits? Are they?
Well,
Do they have names?
you haven't asked it a name. Mostly, we try to just keep it inside.
It's just the one thing.
Well, it. So
Messa, we're really trying to help you here. You've got to give us some more information.
And you see now there's like this a wall that looks like it was formed out of like a large tree root, and she points it out. And so you see, this is the outer perimeter, and what we're seeing now is coming from inside, deep inside Noir. So
How far have we walked so far?
Yeah. And how far further to it?
it's probably 10 minutes
Away?
walk. Is
So
what she had
we
said.
walked into it 10 minutes and it's 10 more minutes?
Oh no.
Oh.
You're at the point where she had said it's about 10 minutes away.
Oh.
So at this point I want to cast my see invisibility.
See invisibility,
Yeah.
okay.
How
And
long does that last?
an hour.
Hmm.
And
We'll either die or kill everything in an hour, it's fine.
so, Messa, if you can draw or somehow give me a picture of what that bear looks like, I might be able to help.
You have the sideshow with you? So, this black one, both of them look like they look like that, but a lot bigger.
Okay.
So, you
So
see-
if I make this one, so look at the black one, that's the female, right?
yes.
Yeah. So I pointed Sela. I said, if I make her about 10 feet taller, would it look like the bear that's normally here?
That might be working, yeah.
And these bears, they don't have beaks, and
No.
feathers and things.
No, that's not an owl bear. They're regular bears.
But sometimes they're ghosts and sometimes they're things that used to be living and now they're dead and have bodies, but they're just
Right.
living. now.
She gets like this distant, far-off look, and she just mutters, "I."
Oh. Messa, we need you to stay with us now. It's very important.
So,
Do you have any protective spells or warding that you might be able to share with us?
well, I had a tooth that I could have given you.
We're really past that now, so this is why we're trying to help you. So
It's literally the only reason
Yeah.
we're trying to help you.
well, that and there's no way to derail the campaign.
Well, you had said that you wanted to go to the ruin, so I brought you to the ruin.
Well, so now you're doing us a favor.
Well,
It's probably better we don't get
I
into
could
So,
wait
we
here on
probably
the
should
perimeter, but
discuss that
if I
500 gold that she got.
Would you like us to hold it for you? Just while we're inside.
Well, we're supposed to get that back, right?
Oh, I don't know, are we?
Because I thought instead of the 500 gold, she doesn't have a lot of use for that. We were going to go do something else for her.
Oh, nobody had mentioned that. She says, "Oh, I already put the 500 gold down. You don't need to worry about that."
Sorry, buddy.
You dropped it like 4 hours ago.
Put it down.
It's like in the earth now.
Like you
Yeah.
didn't notice
It's
like,
somewhere.
It's somewhere.
It's
like
in one of the trees she passed
Yeah.
through.
you did not
Yeah.
It's like in her
carry it,
Not
like
one
she
of
just
those.
dropped it somewhere.
It's just probably, it's never going to leave there now.
It's like the
just
only
gonna-
other person who cares about money like you do.
Yeah.
It's like, meh,
Yeah, put the 500 gold somewhere else.
that'll pay the credit card bill. Okay, so are you coming inside with us? It'd be great
If
if you could.
I pass that wall there, I begin losing some.
You turn into a pumpkin.
well,
a new
not
squash,
quite. No.
pie.
There's an essence that leaves my body when I walk inside the perimeter.
It smells
So
very foul.
I haven't been able to.
You should see a doctor
I
about
haven't
that.
been able to go in, and hence why I probably haven't been able to determine the source of this growing malignancy. But so I won't be able to go in with you.
Are these bears typically just on the perimeter?
Oh no, they can go in
They
and
go
out.
in?
So
And
if,
are the creatures, if the creatures see it, will they be, or whatever it is on the inside, will it be?
I'll pass the word along to my friends so that they can try and keep an eye out for you inside.
have the bears ever told you what it looks like inside yet?
So it's a little bit difficult talking to animals in the sense that they don't really
They're animals.
they don't, they
Yes,
don't
I've been-
share a common vocabulary with the rest of us. So
Oh, like
it's
talking to
mostly
Yeah.
they talk about there is a building that they don't even want to go near, and it has so the bears only really see black and white. They So they can't give me any colors or anything, but they say it's a dark color, and that is where they hear some strange sounds coming from inside. And indeed, that is where they've seen the dead things walk out.
But they don't walk out when the bears are around.
Oh no, they do. They do.
What's the point of the bears being there? I think so they
They make sure that they keep them dead.
keep them dead.
Aye.
Are they magical bears?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to put some conjurations on the bears myself that help them to take care of some of these different.
They tell you how large the building is.
Well, it's at least 3 bears.
I was going to say that, yeah. I wonder what unit bears use to measure things. It is 4 honey pots tall.
They say, so they have said that it's about 3 bears, and that should it's pretty large then if that's the case.
They're big.
This is useless. Well, thank you, Messa, for all the help you've been.
Are
Are
you
you going to be staying here for us? You're going to...
I'm gonna send a couple of my bird friends to keep an eye on you, and they'll let me know if you're coming back our way, and I'll.
Do you have
check
any
out.
healing potions? You might be able to...
I don't have a healing potion. No, I could give you some good berries if you want some.
Yes.
Yes.
All of them.
I have 7, so I'll give you 5. She passes the.
Yep.
the
Okay.
berry gifts. So you just eat it.
So right when you're about to die.
Yeah.
Good, okay.
Revive your-
Gives you 5 good berries. So
So,
Roll initiative.
I'm not interested in leaving my soju bears with her.
you don't want me to take care of them for you.
No, thank you.
It's like boarding school.
So I'm just gonna carry. No. How am I gonna do this?
You have a leash for
I
it?
love.
do.
I love that you have that.
Is it like a harness? What is it?
I have a leash. No,
It's-
it's like a leash.
Oh.
Is it?
So it's like one of those animal leashes that goes like over the arms too.
Yeah, harness,
So it
It does
controls
have,
the
does one have a
chest.
muzzle?
There isn't any.
So I think I want to leash the docile one. So Tribble. And I want to transform Seba into a 10-foot tall bear.
What if we just put the nice one inside your backpack?
What?
If we put the nice one, Tribble, what if we put the Tribble inside your backpack? How are you going to fight with holding up the hip on the leash?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
haven't thought that far ahead.
Well, that's why he's a nice one. So that's why I picked him.
Stay.
Yes.
Okay.
Stay here.
Maybe
Whereas-
you think Messa could like tell it to behave or not to leave your
Well,
side?
here's the other thing. I think if I can communicate with Seba can communicate with him too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. I don't know anything
Are you
about
gonna
it.
put the saddle on Seba?
No, I don't. Oh, do I have to? No, I don't want to do that. Because I want her to attack, like to be able to just fight and attack.
Oh.
Do I have to put the saddle on to do the?
Dominate these?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So the saddle's too big for these unless you make it bigger.
Yeah, I was gonna make her be like the other ones that aren't there.
Large bear.
So maybe not 70 tall. I
You're
don't
gonna
know.
saddle a large bear. It's possible. You can do it because it is a magical saddle.
Yeah, it's dominate beast. How long does it last? I don't know anything about
It
it.
lasts it lasts indefinitely on the beast that you have the saddle on.
How long does the spell last?
But after 8 hours, the beast starts taking 1 hit point of damage and keeps taking 1 hit point of damage unless you allow it to take a 1 hour rest from having the saddle on it.
How long does it?
However, polymorph only lasts an hour.
Yeah. Polymorph.
Oh, the polymorph.
Yeah.
But we can put but when we're done, though, we can put the saddle in the portable hole, so I don't have to carry that around.
So we can only. Ooh.
We're not going to be done in an hour.
And you can
Yeah,
only
makes
use the saddle on 1 beast per day.
Right.
So
Happens if you put it on like a vendor. And if the vendor.
We're gonna try that eventually. I'm like, oh, we're taking a long
messing with you.
Yes. So I want to try to polymorph Saba into whatever size the other bears are.
And as we're walking away, I tell Evendur and Riven, I don't think I've ever missed a mirror before, but I do. This is a nightmare.
Okay. What's the save? Is it wisdom? No. Is it Constitution for the polymorph? Polymorph.
Saber's gonna try to avoid it.
Yeah.
They always have to. Yeah, they always have to
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
say.
Wisdom saving throw
It's
plus
a little bit
1
weird.
to wisdom. Oh.
For a side.
You use one charge of your polymorph wand, and nothing happens.
What?
Saba. The bear
We
remains
should have done it on the
the same size.
I mean,
She.
I gotta know what these things are. I gotta Google them. Did you make this thing up?
I made this thing up.
Okay. When you're in bed, what were you thinking?
Little
A small
tiny
bear.
bear.
Tiny polar bear.
House bear.
Like a house elf? Well, now these are all cute.
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts.
Okay. I know, that's what I had in mind. So it didn't work on Saba, so I'm like, okay, she's being
Aww.
fine, let's do it
When
on.
I feel bad like I've been trying to put them in your backpack. And
Did you get the gift that I sent?
Yes.
No, not yet.
The little, oh, just now?
No, it was a while ago.
Yeah, a little, like, running polar bear.
You gotta be kidding me. These things are precious.
They're so adorable.
It's a
Yeah, I
bear
know.
and we
It's
train killers.
Somewhere in there.
Well, just when you want them to begin.
Yeah, sure.
So, you gonna try it again?
On, triple.
Okay. What's your DC? Your spell save DC? Oh, you know what?
Wait, I'm looking. Spell save DC.
Oh,
It's like
so
what he has to roll in
It's
order to be
8 plus wisdom plus 8 plus charisma plus your proficiency bonus.
So my charisma is
Plus-
16, or you do
So
it
that's plus 2.
3. 16 is 3.
3. So that's
3.
11 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 4 or 3. We're level 5.
Efficiency.
probably 3.
Ah,
Should be
it
14.
says plus 3, but
For your proficiency bonus?
there's a good chance that it's not going to be.
No, that's right. So
Okay.
plus 3.
8, 9, 10, 11,
Yeah, so
12,
plus 3
15
plus
14.
14.
14.
8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 2 plus 3.
3 plus 3.
8 plus 3 plus 2.
Okay.
14.
You try it again. Nothing happens.
Okay, whatever, I quit.
She polymorphs me.
You certainly can choose to fail. I think you only have 3 charges on your polymorph.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, the bears are still the same size.
Dang it.
Like after you do it, I'm like, well, do it already. I mean, come on.
I'm trying.
You call the docile one, and he like stands up on his hind legs, just like stares at you, like he's waiting for a treat.
Come here. Then I give him a treat. When it fails, I just give him a treat.
Yeah, it's adorable. This whole thing is adorable. Messa just is like watching. So are you going to go?
So, since that failed, then I turn to Messa and I say, okay, Messa, since you're not going in, would you be willing to safeguard these 2 bears while we're in?
I treat them like they're my own cubs.
Okay. And I'll give her, do I need to give you some food for them?
Oh no, I'll feed them. I take care of them. There you go. And she starts growling at him, and they go over to her, and they like both of them like kind of like go over, and she pats them like she's pretend wrestling them, and they fall over. And this will be good. This will be good. So
Still my baby.
if you,
What if they like him?
They
more
are going to like
after?
her.
I'll keep them safe for you, and I'll have them ready for you when you get out.
Bathed and everything, huh?
It looks like they've been bathed already.
She's gonna lick him.
They're clean.
So, Messa walks away with the Saba and Trevor. And your hearts drop just a little bit.
Your heart shrinks 2 sizes.
The air around you kind of.
As she's walking away, I'm like, if she hurts those stupid bears, I'm gonna kill her. I'll let her throw that. I didn't think I liked them until they were gone.
There's the smell is kind of like a wet rot smell, and
Sense disease. Don't eat anything. It's all poison.
you said you cast see invisibility.
Yes.
So as soon as you do see invisibility, you see, and you can tell it's a difference. These aren't invisible creatures. You are seeing creatures that are belonging in the ethereal plane. And what it looks like are these spectral walking elves that are moving around in the area. And they're kind of, you can only see them, you can't hear what they're saying. You can see like mouths moving. They aren't paying you any mind or any attention.
They assume I can't see them.
Yeah, you're
No one else
assuming
can
that they
see
can't see you. And they are going about their own business. Like they're kind of floating in the air, moving around where they're trying to go. But it appears that there's some type of a community in the area around you. So,
I don't share that
all right.
yet.
Good to know.
Because I'm afraid that just because I can't hear them doesn't mean they can't hear me. And I don't know the difference.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to say, hey guys, there's a bunch of elves.
It's like Kevin Costner in Prince of Thieves when he first gets the telescope. And he pulls it out, pulls out a sword.
He tries to pull
I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
Can I stab him from here? What is this magic? So you are there. You're seeing them around you. You see about 7 that are in the area. And they're not only on the ground like floating. Some of them are up in the trees, moving from tree to tree. And the trees that are in this dense area of the wood, like they are massive, even though they are bereft of life. So that is what you're able to see.
Do I see like trees as well? Like
You
in
don't
the
see any
plane?
life in the ethereal plane. It just appears that these specters of some sort are moving around among you, around you.
Okay. And make a mental note to discuss this with Evendur.
Sure.
That's
So,
Awesome.
you move into the room. What do you want to do? How do you want to do this?
all. It's just open?
Apparently there are what looks like were walkways at one time. There are these stones that have been laid very meticulously and closely together so that there's no growth that have come around them. It kind of creates a path that's going inside this area, as well as the trees that are all rotting that probably were dwellings and lookout towers and things like that. So what do you want to do?
Investigate for traps.
Yeah. That's what it is.
19.
19.
Noise.
While you are you walking inside now and being careful about it?
Are we? Yeah, we actually walking inside.
I wanted to look and see if there's any traps, kind of like before we cross that plane.
So we're like hanging just right out the entrance, I guess.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. At the entrance, there is one trap that looks like it has been, it's a line that is just across the entranceway.
Mm-hmm.
And the line attaches to, and you follow it up, and up in a tree there is a log that it's been cut so that it's a spike. And if you walked over that, it would trip that, and then that would come down and swing and impale whoever walked into it. So you see that, and it's easy enough to disarm. You could cut the line and just spring it, or you could just step over it.
We should spring it probably.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, then it could potentially set off a signal to somebody that could be in there.
Yeah.
So it's up to y'all. What do you want to do? You want to just step over it? Or?
In my experience, it's always good to have trap behind you in case you are trying to run away.
So step over it.
Is what I do. So,
Are you feeling okay? Something's a little bit off with you.
look, it has been troubling me since Dwarf Girl did not want to ride horseback.
I understand. We'll find somebody for you.
It's not something I will need. It's just
I
never nice to hear.
I kind of tell him like, to be honest, I think the Riven's got a little thing for me. Just between you and me.
Good to know. Thank you for telling me. I will keep my eyes out and my ears out.
So just watch out for the tail.
Okay, we'll do that. Yes.
Yeah. So we step over.
So you all move into the ruin. The path kind of moves into the It looks like it is a very organized community, or it was at one time. The trees are massive, and they have these. They weren't created by people. Like elves didn't create these wooden planks and then put them up the trees so that you can walk up. It looks more like the tree grew out this little platform that you could step up into, get up onto the top of the treetops. And it goes up, and you do see like vines that go over and have grown between trees, and branches that are used as makeshift bridges between the different trees that are there. And you see a veritable community that is moving around you. People are talking. There are even elf children that are kind of running and playing in the area, even though
Dead elf children.
Are they dead?
You don't know.
I think they just probably moved to a different plane of existence because of whatever this evil is. Yeah.
You aren't certain, but it gives the
Like
it is silent in here, and you don't even hear like the.
I don't feel threatened by them yet.
Right, but it gives you an even more kind of like eerie feeling to be surrounded by all of this when you don't even hear like bugs or anything. Like it's just dead silent except for your own footsteps moving down this avenue, and the trees occasionally will have like an opening where it looks like a naturally occurring knot kind of opens up where there was probably a shop and things in there. So what do you guys want to do?
Detect magic. Cast as a ritual.
Okay, so you're going to spend 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't have it prepared, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
I want to look for anything shiny that
maybe
might be left over from the shop.
you want to do that now? Like I didn't know it was going to be a ritual for you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we don't have to do it now.
10 minutes is a long time because that's 10 more minutes of her.
Oh, I do have it prepared.
Oh, bam!
So I'll cast that.
Okay, you cast Detect Magic, and
yes,
the area around you does not have any presence of magic.
You don't sense anything. Do
Except
we know
for
you cast?
obviously the items that you all have.
Do we know that you cast see invisibility?
No, that wouldn't tell you that.
No. Do we know that she cast it?
No, so it's more of a racial thing that she's doing,
Okay.
and she has the knowledge of how
I have Gaydar, is what I have. Smite.
How's that working for you?
it is helpful in certain situations. See invisibility, verbal, somatic, material. So you have a pinch of talc, and so like it's like dust, and sprinkling of powdered silver, and you use that, and when you do make kind of a show. You say something, and you do it.
That was on my carpet.
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh yeah.
And they're all on horses, so.
I'm assuming she would have just done it in the air.
Okay, yeah, so are we going towards a building, you said?
There are buildings around you, and they have openings that you could probably walk into.
There's not like a big center building, like a...
All of these kind of wind and go in towards the center area. From where you are, it's hard to tell because there's so many trees that it kind of gets in the way, but you could tell this is going towards something. Like
Do I get
the outer perimeter all centers on one focal point.
Do I get the feeling on the ethereal plane that they're doing something, like that there's a purpose to what they're doing? Or are they just living their life? Like,
It looks... make an insight check.
Nice. million.
That's it? I got 20.
So the sense that you get from observing these things, whatever they are, is that they are just going about their business. They don't appear to have any apparent purpose to their doings. Like, it doesn't look like they're all engaging in some type of a ritual or any type of spell casting. People aren't really paying attention to things. It looks like they're living some type of existence that you can't see anything.
Like there's not even like one kid like all kind of like just watching us, like trying to figure out like who we are, what we're doing.
It doesn't look like any of them are watching you.
So do you just keep going to the center of the town? I don't even know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we here for again?
We wanted to see
I want to try to
if-
make a perception check when we stop and listen. 4 plus 4, 8. I don't see anything.
Yeah. It's so
Silence.
quiet that it's
Yeah.
like eerie. You can't.
You don't hear or see anything other than the shops and the occasional buildings. You can tell that one of the tree.
Okay, how do I know that?
Uh,
How do I know there's shops in the buildings and stuff?
That's what it looks like, right?
Like, are there signs out front, or were there old signs, or like, is there glass on the buildings?
There is not a sign, but there are elven runes, like elven script that is on the front of some of the
So
buildings.
I'm fluent in Elvish.
Yeah, so you do see there are things that it would be a symbol that is for, like, this is for general supplies.
Ooh,
This
is there a cooking store?
There might be, but you haven't seen a cooking
Okay.
store.
You
A
wanna
general
give us
supply
history?
store would probably have more cooking things in it. There was a weapon shop also.
How scary do I feel? How nervous? How eerie do I feel?
I would say it's pretty dialed up.
Oh, okay.
Be-
I'll come
like,
back
just,
to
like-
this.
Sensory deprivation itself
Uh-huh.
is enough to drive people insane. And
Okay.
so, like, you not hearing anything, like, not
What's
even a
Martha
bird is
doing?
going through there.
She's usually
Martha
staying alive.
is
Not inside.
Yeah.
keeping her eyes open, and she's constantly, like, looking over around. She's trying to keep watch on behind you. She's not certain
Always looking
where
behind.
where danger could
Forward.
be coming from, but she's keeping an eye on your guys'.
Rudy says look for thieves' can't symbols.
Oh, yeah, you don't see any thieves' camp symbols.
We don't see any, Rudy. I don't know, do you? Okay, we just keep going to the main town. There's nothing going on. There's no
I just want to
animals
go.
or
Yeah, we just want to go like building to building.
Yeah,
and
we're
What's
Somebody-
the radius on that? 20 feet?
Detect magic?
Yeah.
I think it's like 30 feet.
Okay. Good.
If only one of us like could see invisibility or something like that. Okay, we just keep going. Yeah, like, it's
Alright.
not so scary. And I guess the longer I'm in there, I'm like, it's not so bad, you know.
Yeah.
I'm used to hearing my own
I
heartbeat.
mean, I wouldn't build a summer home here. Right?
Yeah, I
The
wouldn't.
trees are actually quite low.
Real estate's probably super cheap. It's right next to that pretty glade.
Is there any kind of like vegetation on the plants?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
like
everything's
fruits
still dead.
or-
Everything is dead.
Everything's dead.
There do look like there were gardens and places where plants were growing, and now it's just a dead.
So ask
patch of earth.
Evendur if is there some kind of a god that does this type of work?
With this kind of magic?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about magic, but just
let
that
me
would cast
think.
this kind of spell or
Is
not
there
spell.
a demon that will?
Yeah.
You'll know that,
Oh,
Would that be a
I would
religion
know
check?
right?
That would be a religion check.
I might know.
It's like, is there a demon that like makes everything spooky? Yeah, all of them, dude.
So 19.
19. There's a few suspects. If you're going, like, if you're thinking this is from a god or someone
A
who
god or a
worships
demon.
god.
Michelson
Either
just
or.
wrote, he's like, I just got home to see what's happening, and we're in a ruin. It was on the way there.
It was on the way.
And we're-
I don't remember passing by one on the way to Warminster, but
We took the road less traveled.
so
very,
at
very
there's a
stuff.
few. There is
this
Talos.
Oh, he's got diabetes.
He is the god of storms. There's Talona, who's the goddess of disease and poison.
Oh, that was.
Which we are resistant to or have advantage against.
True. There's Shar, the goddess of darkness and loss.
Is it still darker in here?
It is dark.
Is it like twilight? Is it?
It looks like the light that happens on a solar eclipse.
Okay.
So it's very obscure.
I don't know anything about these gods, but do you know anything about the demons? Is there somebody maybe you heard of?
Did you mention those were
Those
gods?
were gods.
Those are all greater
Do
deities.
you know of any demons that I would have knowledge of that might have caused this to happen for some purpose?
Yeah, because we can still turn back.
Yeah, we don't.
If it's like
have to do
Asmodeus,
that.
yeah, it's like, well, everything's good to go.
Yeah, didn't see
You have to-
anything.
you know what? Keep the staff. It's fine.
The staff and
That's where it was.
can't believe my little berries didn't grow. I'm upset about that.
You gotta water them every time.
You do have to water them. Otherwise they get lost.
And you can't watch them all the time. If you just watch them, they never grow.
They never. Oh, maybe they're gonna grow. I know what Messa. She's
Yeah.
gonna give them some kind of like berries or something.
What are you gonna do if you get them back?
There.
Well, no, and it's like this, she shaved them, or
I'll be so pissed.
or like I don't know, something else like declawed.
I'll probably have to do something to her eye.
So has your character, because you are a devil, or sorry,
Yeah,
whoa,
easy.
uncalled for.
Jeez.
You are the daughter of Devilkin. So, did you spend any time looking up anything about your heritage, or what?
I did. Mine. So to do anything to do with like this, right? That I wanted to know what it was because I was big into family, obviously, which is why I have like a certain little piece within me that's not completely evil.
You know
So
what we could do? We could blow this up and put it inside of here, and then do another layer.
Oh my gosh.
I would
Yeah.
first probably commission like a cartographer to actually
It's good.
like there are some really talented people who I follow.
You gotta find a way to
Make
like we have to like
maps.
slide it in.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sorry.
so your study of Dis, which is the second layer of the Nine Hells, you get the feeling this isn't anything to do with Dis or Dispater, because a lot of his realm has it has metalworking and iron roads, and a lot of like buildings are made out of iron, and like it's very spiky and rusty and just a dirty, gross place. Like I get grossed out when something's like super rusty. Like it grosses me out. I don't know what happened, but that whole place, I would just have like if you don't have a tetanus shot, then you're gonna probably
Get lockjaw.
yeah.
I just feel like it's home sweet home. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Love it.
So yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with that layer of the Nine Hells.
All right.
Oh, I knew that.
Well, we just keep going forward then.
Okay.
And is there wind, or is
There
it
is
totally
no
dead?
wind. Nothing.
So are
No
we
senses.
outside
Except for that
then
smell.
going to a different building, or are they like all connected? Or
The-
do we go into one building and then come out and then go to another one?
You said it smells like rot,
Yes.
like a mulch,
Like
or dead people, dead living things,
when you were on the outside, it smelled like rotting vegetation.
like compost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that you're on the inside, it has more of a sickly, sweet smell to it, like
Oh,
that
sacred.
of an exhumed corpse.
Necromancy.
Yeah.
You do an Arcana check.
Does it smell like wounds that have gangrene and stuff?
24.
Yes.
Hey, that's good.
It's disgusting.
24 Arcana check.
Yeah.
Appears to be some type of magic.
Jeez.
I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
So, you would know basic ideas of necromancy. That wasn't your particular college or school that you went to.
But you dated this girl. I mean,
You dated her. She was a super freak.
Yeah. She shopped at Hot Topic. So what? Hey, wait. So do we need special weapons, or what do we need?
I mean, possibly we're gonna have to fight people from the living dead.
Did anybody get like
Undead.
Amir's ball gag?
Huh?
Did anybody grab Amir's ball gag or something like that kind of special weapon, or like silver? What do you think? It doesn't matter. I don't have
Silver's
any.
mostly lycanthropy, like werewolves.
And vampires and stuff
I
like
feel
that.
like Martha would have something for this.
You know what?
Some kind of holy magic. Holy magic with battle then.
Yeah, holy magic.
Doesn't she have stuff like that?
All right,
She does, yeah.
we go.
Definitely does.
Start to double time it.
Alright,
Okay.
so what are we looking for exactly here?
So,
Whatever's causing the evil.
A 3-bear building
Yeah, three. Yeah, building 3 bears tall.
that has
30
voices
foot.
or some sounds coming from it.
And we're just investigating that?
yeah.
That was what Messa
I
said.
think it's just like a light switch. Somebody just forgot to turn off. Like they left the oven on. They're
So,
super
can
easy.
we make a perception check for that?
So
Maybe.
you're winding your way towards the center.
Uh-huh.
You get the feeling you're moving in the right direction towards the center. You're just passing by all the scenes on the
But not,
side.
when we look back, nothing changes. It just looks like what we went through.
Right.
Okay.
So moving further in and deeper in,
Do
following
I see anybody
Benjen's
outside?
lead. The outside what?
Like outside the building? Oh, I already said that. I
Yeah,
said
people
that.
are like walking in and out of the buildings. No one's carrying anything. Nobody has really any possessions on them, but people are all
Are they
they're
like
clothed.
dancing? Are they doing?
They're
See, they got like you can tell when somebody's from the 1800s because they wear different clothes. Like these people.
Do they have? So
I mean, that's what I would do if I could see
I'm
invisibility.
trying to get a vibe for like. I know you said that they're just living their life, right? But like, are they like going to church? Are they cooking? Are they?
Definitely not going to
I don't know.
church.
Are they?
Praise Jesus.
Yeah. What are they? What are they? What does it look like? Is it all mixed? Men. It is men and women and kids.
men and women and children.
And I can't see color. Do I see? They're all human.
They have kind of like a green glow to them.
Oh, see, now that, that'd been good to know.
They are all elves,
They're all. Oh, they're elves. You told me that. Okay.
and they are all ranging in all ages, old to young.
And they have weapons on them, or they don't.
Some of them are acting like they're carrying weapons, but you don't see anything. Like, people look like they might be shouldering something, and you don't see anything on there, or
But I
someone
can
like
see
adjusting
invisibility.
their sword belt, but nothing's there. They have their clothing on, but you don't see anything else there.
I don't think they're ghosts. I think it might be like a memory, like a replay of a past time or something like that.
I wish she would tell us so we could help her kind of figure this out.
Oh yeah, right. We don't know this yet.
Yeah, you don't know.
So-
So I'm
let's-
waiting for there to be some kind of big reveal to me. Them like, oh my god, I need to tell them, which
Right.
hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no. As you're getting
Yeah,
further
like, yeah.
in,
Seeing all these dead elves isn't a big reveal.
as you're moving further into Njord,
Yeah.
there are more and more people who are moving around you. And there's been a couple of times where they have come close to you, but did you want to just walk through them, or what did you want? Are you going to avoid them? What do you want to do?
I want to. If they come close, I want to accidentally bump into one, see if it does anything.
Certainly. So when you do that, you don't
Like
meet,
from the side.
you don't meet any resistance. You walk right through or pass through whatever is they're made of,
And they don't act any different.
you notice on the first one that you do it to, they stop and they look down and they kind of like frown for a second, and then they go back to what they were doing. So
Are you in your carpet?
yeah, she's walking.
All right. I keep double timing it towards the
So
center.
I want to try that again. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I want to try that again, just as we're walking. I want to if I come close, I want to
Trip one.
I want to walk through it
Sure.
and see if it has the same reaction.
Yeah, so this one you see, it looks like you probably... So their facial features, like you know that they're elves, but the look of it kind of... How do I describe this? Have you seen the movie Lord of the Rings?
I've heard of it.
When Frodo puts on the ring and sees the ring wraith standing in front of him, it's kind of like the ghost of a face. Like you don't see all of the features of the face, but you can tell it's a face of some kind. That's what they kind of look like to you. And when you walk through this one, he like goes back and his mouth kind of opens wide, and he clutches at himself, and then when you're passed through, he kind of like shakes and looks around, and his mouth starts moving like he's saying something, but you can't hear him.
Do I notice anybody else like look at me when he's?
No one looks at you, and someone looks over at him like they can hear what he's saying. But.
I feel like they can't see me. Okay, so I want to try it again with somebody else. As we're walking along.
It keeps going on. Similar things, like they'll react to something. Something's happening, and they can tell, but they don't see or are not reacting to you. So you get to a area where the trees have grown in a kind of natural circle, and it's kind of spanned up, and all the other buildings, these elven tree buildings, have kind of been pushed back a ways. So there's about a 30-yard expanse where there's no foliage between, where there's this like wooden large structure that's going up into the air.
Is it just dirt or is there stones?
It's just, so there is stones in the area, but it looks like dirt has kind of started covering the stones in this area. And the wall, for lack of a better term, looks like it has been rotted to the point where it no longer would serve a functional purpose, and there are spaces where you could probably climb through or break through to get into the inside of this central...
There's not a door?
It doesn't look like there's a door.
Any ruins on the outside?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
16 plus 1, 17.
So looking at it, you don't see any runes on it. You can tell that it looks like some pieces had fallen over onto places that are nearer the bottom. So if you got closer, there might be things that have been covered by falling debris.
Now, how long have we been walking from the root, from the fence to the building?
Yeah, so it's probably been 10 minutes.
And how many buildings have we seen?
Dozens, hundreds.
Oh wow, huge.
Yeah. And you've been moving pretty fast.
I do, at this point, I think I do want to tell them, because I'm concerned that my time's going to run out. And it occurs to me after I walk through them that perhaps they're friendly. They might not be. It might be a terrible idea, but perhaps they're friendly and we could talk with them somehow. I can't, but maybe Evendur could or something. I don't know. Or Mark, I don't know.
So now that you're in the very center of this place, Riven, hey guys, I got something.
So
I just noticed.
So there's something I wanted to tell you guys. So we're not the only ones here. I cast I want to say this out loud because I still don't know for sure if they can hear me. So I'm whispering. I'm like, okay. So I can see into the ethereal plane right now. This can only last for another 45 minutes or so.
I look at Evendur like, did you give her gloom trap?
No.
And I need to tell you guys that we're not the only ones here. I don't currently feel like we're in danger.
Who else is here?
Where is this threat? Well, who do I need to attack?
Punch in the throat.
Well, I don't think that we need to attack. I don't feel like
Well, who else is here? What do they look like?
So they're elves.
Are they black elves?
I can't tell.
I cannot tell you how much I do not trust elves.
I think I want to say they're regular elves.
Martha Facebook.
Yeah.
Or just.
So, do they look? What kind of clothes are they wearing? Is it something? They look like they're contemporary? Are they older?
I can't really discern. I don't think that it doesn't look exceptionally outdated. Right? Is that right?
It doesn't look like what the high elves were wearing.
Yeah.
And that's really like the only other time that you would.
So it looks relatively normal.
Is it? So do they look like the wood elves, like the forest elves, like Amir, or the people who you happen to fight with, or Evendur you happen to fight with?
Definitely not. No, those ones were like wearing bare minimum clothing.
Oh
covered
no!
in
I
mud.
mean
the elves
Those are the
in
priests.
Warminster
that's right.
were wearing very fine robes. These look like they are
And
wearing
trained.
some type of robing
And
and.
I make an
are they
arcana
armed?
check based on what she gave, what information she gave.
Boy,
Yeah.
wait!
Certainly.
I want to tell you the rest.
Make an
So
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell you. So I also
Uh-huh.
I decided to see what would happen if I accidentally bumped into one. They haven't seemed to notice that we're here or care
Mm-hmm.
that we're here, but I noticed that when I bump into them, I actually walk through them as if they're like a ghost. But they do sense it. I can tell that they sense it. I don't know what they sense, but they still don't look at me. They don't take any action.
What happens if
against
you do
me.
it more than once to the same one?
I haven't tried that yet.
Well, can you try it?
I can try it.
Just keep like trying to run into the same person.
But I wanted to see if you guys had any kind of knowledge of anything like that, or if you think that they're dead, or this could be
23.
existing in a different plane.
So
I have
you,
zero knowledge.
you know other planes exist, but
Uh-huh.
you've never heard of anyone who could really manipulate people who are existing on another plane.
Like what she's doing.
Right. There are places that you've heard of where the rift between different planes is very thin, and that's where things can start leaking out. Like if there's a place that goes to the Feywild, that's when you'll start seeing like wild elves, or you'll start seeing satyrs, or occasional unicorns will like appear and be fabled.
You're
in, like,
seeing
certain
unicorns.
areas. like those different types of things start tending to happen in the prime material plane where you all exist. When there are rifts where worlds are colliding and there's a veil that is being torn.
Are any of them going to this building?
You do see that there are people standing on what would be the ramparts of this keep.
I know it's 3 bears high. How many bears around is it?
So this is probably even bigger than 3 bears high. So this might not be the building that they're referring to. It could be inside this compound.
Ah.
Because it's not a building.
Oh,
it's-
does it look like it's been boarded up? Like it's housing something else?
Yes.
What? I think we didn't find it. Can we go back? We're donut makers. What are we doing here?
What I would like to try to do is walk into another elf or whatever, or spear or
Ghost.
whatever. But I want to stay.
You know, like follow it if it's walking around.
Yeah,
Notice.
Yeah, I want to
Step
like
for
be
step.
in it and see
Okay.
if I can can I hear?
So we need
the
a
other
safe word.
side,
We
or-
need to pick a safe word.
Well, if I start disappearing,
Well, no, you tell us something with it. But what do we do? Can I have your
I don't know. I've never done this. No, you can't have
You're gonna make
anything.
a
Well, let me hold it.
You're not gonna.
All right,
know
all right.
password for
We'll
my-
go save you. Jeez, for crying out
for my
loud.
magic
All I'm
card.
gonna do is
Okay, so you stand inside the creature and it kind of like doubles over, and so you try to like maintain it like as much as you can. Like
Does it look like it's hurting? You're hurting it?
inside it. It doesn't look like it's comfortable, that's for sure. Go ahead and make an intelligence saving throw.
Well, do you think? Wait. Do you think it's because you're a devil?
It might be. I don't know. I don't
I think
really
we should
care.
try to with Martha or somebody. Still old
She
lady.
can't. Well, she can't see. She can't follow it around.
Yeah, you guys don't see any of them, so you
Well,
wouldn't know. Like Riven would have to be directing you. A little to your left.
Well, hang on.
Left,
yeah,
left.
Yeah, left. Damn it, Mark.
No.
After 20.
Now bend over like you're in pain, like someone's punching you and stuff.
Well, don't I have? Hang on. Don't I have
Your
something?
intelligence modifier or saving?
It's like no, it's a sneak attack.
Sweetheart. It is just the intelligence I find.
It's bad.
What is, I don't know, Warlock is charisma and con?
You're not a rogue.
Oh,
you're a rogue, so you get dexterity saving throw, like proficiency.
Dexterity and intelligence, though, right?
And intelligence.
So my intelligence is 14,
It's plus 1.
2,
2.
and my dexterity is 15, so it's plus 2 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, dexterity and intelligence, you have training.
Plus 3. Nice.
23.
Plus 3.
20, huh?
22.
2, so that's 20, so 19 plus 2 plus 3, because she has,
that's
she's proficient. Or,
24.
so thieves have, yeah.
Oh, got it.
Because you're a thief. You get those extra bonuses. So, yes, you are there, you're trying to stay with it, you start feeling your mind starts kind of seizing up. Like,
What does your tail feel like?
it's hard for you to keep a thought.
The kids watching.
I'm sorry. Eventually.
It's hard for you to suddenly, like, it's hard for you to keep focus and to keep your thoughts on things, and you feel kind of like you're falling unconscious, and then suddenly you kind of shake your head and look up and remember that you were trying to stand in the creature that was there, and it has started moving away.
What happened? Why'd you bend over?
I don't say anything. I just go back to the creature.
All right. Go ahead and make.
Are you okay?
Saving
Should we
throw.
let Evendur? What is she doing? I don't even know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, there it is! You die! Oh my gosh! You gotta learn to communicate with your friends. Good grief!
So she's still not saying anything to us at this point, right?
No, she ran right up into him, and that was it. Right?
Wish I could help you. Good luck.
Wish I could help you. Good luck. So you.
I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna carry.
You heard it. Everybody heard it. She said I could have a run.
I said no. Well, you can have it. You just can't use it.
I mean, it's
Okay.
very nice.
So you become aware of
Wolf. She becomes a werewolf.
another person who is moving your body, and you are seeing everything that it's seeing, and it's standing there and it's looking around, and it gasps. You hear your voice say, "What is it? What happened? What happened?" And you hear your own voice saying that, and it's looking around, and everyone's looking at you.
Do we hear that?
The
Yes.
thing. So the elf took my place. It's in my body, talking to you guys.
I look at Evendur. Well, what do we do? Do we talk to it? I don't even know.
Well,
You don't know.
think it's Riven.
And is it speaking in?
You think it's-
Is it speaking in?
Oh, it is
Elvish?
speaking in Elvish.
Oh crap! And I don't speak English, so you know that it's not me then.
She suddenly starts speaking in Elvish. What is going on? What is this? Who are you?
So I'm going to go tackle her if you don't tell me not to. Because I've known her long enough to know that she doesn't know Elvish.
I don't know Elvish.
She's not got that good of a sense of humor. So she's not playing a joke.
So definitely restrain her. Yeah, that's a good idea because we don't know what that elf is
Don't
going to do.
use the ball gag.
It's for your own good! Okay, yeah, I tackle her. I don't, yeah.
You can
Alright.
try to.
Go ahead and make an athletics check. Saving throw versus me.
So you, it's not me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he got,
2 plus athletics.
Yeah.
Negative.
Trace. 3
So-
amigos.
Yeah, you go over and try and tackle her, and she does a full backflip out of the way and lands like 3 feet away, like something that I've never seen her do that.
What does Demitri think of it? It's like a ninja.
It is very impressive.
He's like 9.5.
No, you
9.5 from the Russian
so you do like 7.
Yeah, that's the Russian judge.
Come on!
Yeah, 6.
It was perfect.
Net her. Martha says net her. He nets her.
Nice. Alright, so
She nets her. Yeah.
I need to save from that. Or no, you make an attack roll, Martha. I'll just do it. I hope that you put the net in your character.
Here, Riven will do it. Go. Holy
got it.
fuck!
He
Roll
got
the one.
that one.
The net missed.
It's on me. I'm like, no!
Items, net, yeah, pulling it up now.
I'm gonna cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on her.
You made me laugh?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It
It, like-
disables you, like you just go into a laughing fit.
Oh.
When it falls to the ground. DC is 14. Wisdom saving throw.
alright. Riven begins laughing uncontrollably and landing on the ground. That happens, and Riven, you're on the ground. You look around, and you see the area around you is lush and vibrant and green, and there are kids laughing and playing, and people are speaking Elvish around you, and people are.
Crap, I'll speak Elvish.
They see that you have fallen on the ground, and a person comes over to you and begins speaking to you in Elvish, and you look up at them and move your hand like I don't know what you're saying.
I look like that person.
And you look at your hand and you notice your hands are different. You normally have red skin.
It's like grayish purple.
Grayish purple, and your hands are now like a very white look to them, and it doesn't look like you at all. You're moving your hands and you're looking like this, and you look down, you see you're wearing these fine silks and flowing robes all the way down. Your tail is not there.
My horns?
Your horns are gone. You have
pointy
ears that are coming up towards like the top of your head, where they're kind of sticking up like that. And we will pick up there next week on Dungeons and Dragons.
How do we undo this?
In the ruins of Nior.
How do we reverse that?